Hey guys, today is Marriage Monday, and today I wanted to talk about when marriage is hard. If you're new to my channel, my name is Alana, and my channel is all about marriage, homemaking, healthy living, and homeschooling. Please subscribe. So, marriage definitely brings a lot of hard moments, sometimes hard seasons. And I do want to preface this video by saying I cannot cover all the reasons that marriage might be difficult. There are many degrees of difficulty. Some are just bickers and arguments, disagreements. Some are times where you are resentful and bitterness has harbored in your heart. And then there's times where counseling is a must. Then there's also things that are severe, like abuse or addiction or adultery. And for those things, I highly recommend biblical counsel, to go to your pastor, your elders, and seek biblical counsel, not Christian counseling, where secular philosophy and psychology is mingled with Christian philosophy, but biblical counseling, where you will be counseled strictly from the Bible. So anybody who's married will tell you there are hard moments, and anybody who's married has probably endured some degree of difficulty for a season, short or long. Every marriage is going to look different and be different. Everyone's story is so different. Me and my husband would say that our most difficult time of marriage was before marriage, when we were dating, totally foolishly dating, with no discipleship, no counsel. We were just very foolish, and that was a very difficult time in our relationship because there was bitterness, there was resentment, there was constant bickering and arguing, and it was really destructive and hurtful for both of us. It took the Lord separating us for a whole year to bring us back together after fixing up our horrible mess. If you want to hear my whole story, check out my How I Met My Husband video. I'll post the link in the description box. But we definitely have had difficult seasons in our marriage, and I think that what got us through it all is that we both follow Christ wholeheartedly. I cannot see any other way to come out of a dark or a difficult season in your marriage. I think, circumstances can really create tension and stress in your life, and then your marriage can suffer for it, especially if you're not careful and on guard. If you forget that you're a team and you start doing things on your own, solo, that is an open door for the enemy to come in and wreak havoc in your home. You want to remain a team, but like so many things in marriage, for it to function ideally and best, it takes both of us to be committed to the Lord first and foremost, wholeheartedly, and second, committed to each other, committed to living as believers with each other, forgiving one another for everything, being gracious to one another, being quick to apologize, not allowing bitterness to grow, not allowing resentment to grow. All of those things need to be in place and on the lookout for any threat to your marriage. Always being on guard, protecting your marriage, guarding it as if Satan wanted to rip it apart, because guess what he does? He totally wants to destroy it. He wants to destroy the family. So I think the hardest time in our marriage was about 6 years ago. And it's interesting, that's like right around the time I started my channel. But it was many things were all starting. It was like Hector got a new job. We started the food truck. My mom moved in with us. Joelle was 1, so it was like the little years of craziness. I can't even remember them. And we had a certain individual enter our life that I was very about. And I feel like all those things combined brought a lot of stressors into our life that we were not on guard or expecting, and we were not prepared to battle them or fight them. And so it totally interfered with our unity and our harmony. And I would say it lasted, maybe it was about 7 years ago. It lasted about a year and a half. And I remember when it started to get better. And I remember why. I stopped pointing out all the ways that I saw Hector failing me or not doing what I thought he should be doing, and I started focusing on what I could be doing better. And it wasn't like bickering, and everybody's is gonna look different. For us, it wasn't like fighting a lot. It was more I think, resentment and bitterness, not to the degree of like destroying everything in its path by God's grace. We nibbed it before that, but it was definitely a lot of assuming and a lot of feeling threatened. I think I had a huge problem with letting Hector like go off and do stuff. When I had 2 tiny babies, I was so overwhelmed. I was like, when are you coming home? You know, that desperate season. And if he wanted to do anything besides be home, I was so upset. So I think his freedom was threatened, and that, you know, gave him annoyance with me. Rightly so, but man, it was just hard, you know, it was just hard. And I can see it through my eyes and I can see it through his eyes. I don't think one of us was right or wrong. We just weren't working together very well. And so for us, it didn't look like this crazy, horrible, eruptive thing, but it could be an almost on the brink of divorce situation. And guess what? It is never too late. The Lord can restore anything. The Lord can repair anything that we mess up and destroy. So I guess my encouragement to you is, if you're in a hard season in your marriage, don't let that define your entire marriage. You're going to go through ups and downs, and that is the beauty of this journey we're on. It's going to be filled with happy moments, sad moments, hard moments, angering moments, joyful moments beyond belief. And one day we'll be past it all and look back and just see God, 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 and walking through this life with someone all these years for the Lord. It is powerful, and the Lord is teaching us, and the Lord is teaching our husbands, and the Lord will show our husbands things that they don't see now. He'll show them one day, and us too. And ultimately, we're living this life to honor the Lord. Ultimately, we're living this life to honor Christ, to bring glory to Christ. If we hang on to the Lord and seek the Lord and pursue the Lord diligently, kind of like what I talked about in last week's video, we will never feel alone, no matter how hard our marriage gets, and we will never feel like there's no hope, because the Lord is our sustainer. He is our source of joy. He is our source of comfort, and He is with us, and we are not alone. And so if we are clinging to Christ, we can walk through even the hardest marital challenges and conflicts. And not to say that even for just little rough patches in your marriage, you shouldn't go and seek biblical counsel. You can. Why not? That's why our elders are there. That's why our pastors are there. Why not? Go seek wisdom. Is it okay to talk to friends? Yes. And I definitely think that it's okay to talk in detail, but I would not do that with more than one friend. I would choose one wise older woman that you feel you can trust and that you respect and will be vulnerable with, but still, even if you share the things that are difficult for you that your husband is doing or not doing that you want him to do or whatever, that you would not bash him. Because what if in 5 years everything's different and now this person has this view of your husband? You know, like, you want to protect him still. That is not to say that you should not share the things you're dealing with and that you have genuine questions about, but it's not meant to be a bash fest. If you truly want to seek counsel, what you're truly seeking, hopefully, is restoration and wisdom on how you can handle yourself to better the situation. Because, like we always say, we can only take responsibility for the things we do, right? Should you still celebrate anniversary? Should you still go on dates? Should you still make time to invest in one another, even if things are so hard you don't even want to look at the person? I would say yeah. Is it going to be the perfect celebration? No. Might it be really disappointing even during the celebration? Yes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're fighting for reconciliation and peace, you must work towards that. You can't just neglect the relationship and ignore the work that needs to be done and think that it's just going to happen by itself. It won't just happen by itself. It will not. And lastly, pray, 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 pray. Pray, be humble and gracious. Be the first to apologize. Be the first to confess your sin. Start to praise and acknowledge the good verbally very often in your marriage. And these things will start to cover and cover and cover the ugly. They'll start to cover the ugly. You know, we hurt our husbands with our words. We tear them down. We destroy our households when we're foolish. And it just takes so much longer to rebuild them. So be very mindful of that. Choose your words wisely. Choose your battles. Is everything something that needs to be talked about? No. Do you have to talk to your husband about everything? No. We have the Lord. Rest easy as the Lord restores and restores and restores and restores. There may come a day where your relationship is so restored that you are able to freely discuss things with your husband that you couldn't when things were tough. And it's because the relationship is restored and you need to work to that end. It's never just one person's fault. It's always both. We both can always work on something and improve on something. And unaddressed sin, when you don't tend to your marriage and when you don't work towards reconciliation and peace and love and harmony and unity, when you don't work towards that, what will happen by itself is the other direction. That will naturally happen. Every divorce is from unaddressed sin. So I just want to encourage you to not leave sin unaddressed in your marriage and to be hopeful and know that just because you're in a difficult season does not mean that the Lord cannot restore it, and it does not mean that your whole marriage is ruined, because it's not. It's not. I hope this is helpful and that you are encouraged in this. I would love to hear your stories, your experiences, any advice that you have, any wisdom you have. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.